6. First, the highlights. Governor Sanwo-Olu reaffirms Lagos State's openness to more local foreign investments. President Tinubu seeks Senate consideration on injection of 6.2 trillion naira into year 2024 budget. On the 14th, Bangladeshi Prime Minister orders probe into killing of students protesting against government's job quota system. And in sports, PSG steps up interest in Nigerian striker Victor Osimhen. And now the details. I am Akan Usen. Governor Sanwo-Olu has reaffirmed that Lagos State is open to more local and foreign investments and partnerships to boost its economy and security of residents. Governor Sanwo-Olu stated this when the Executive Secretary and Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian Investment Promotion Commission, NIPC, Aisha Remi, led the Commission's management team on a courtesy visit to him at the Lagos House Marina. The governor said the administration has been helping businesses with its corporate assembly and will do more to make ease of doing business a reality.
Lagos and Lagos State officials are well equipped to support, to help, to be able to bring in those investments and to create an environment that is investor friendly. We also, as citizens, have to also make conscious investment into our environment as well, because people will also not just come and help you. Our investors, our citizens also must to take further risk in our own environment and know that there's no better place than home.
Earlier, Executive Secretary and Chief Executive Officer of NIPC, Aisha Remi, commended Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu for his administration's infrastructural development, especially in the transportation sector. She called on states to set up one-stop investment centers to help investors overcome challenges of regulatory frameworks. Remi, who said the NIPC had started an investment certification program for states, called for collaborations among states to leverage their comparative advantage to boost local and foreign investments.
We realize that now investments are fluid. So we promote collaboration and collaboration not just with us, but even in and around your sister states. And we're very happy to see that the governors have formed the Southern Governors Forum because, again, like I said, investment travels and it travels very quickly. We've seen what you've done with the railway and we know that it has gone into neighboring states and they're able to peel off all of that. So it's how we can promote ultimately what we call RIBS, which is responsible, inclusive, balanced and sustainable investments across not just states but regions as well.
Governor Sanwo-Olu presented iconic gifts to the NIPC boss, demonstrating the investment-friendly nature of the state. Lagos State government has announced the rebranding of the state's Ministry of Agriculture, which will now be known as the Ministry of Agriculture and Food Systems. Commissioner for Agriculture and Food Systems, Abisola Olusoya, who stated this during a press briefing at Alausa, noted that with the rebranding of the ministry, 3 new departments, including livestock services, agric engineering, produce safety and food quality control, have been introduced. Olusoya, while ruling out the achievements of the ministry, said the administration of Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has done a lot in the area of development of food logistics roadmap and affordability of food items across the state. So the commissioner said the Mushin Food Hub, which was opened in December 2023, has recorded 40 market open days with 339 registered vendors and 918 million naira recorded transactions in the last 6 months.
Develop a food logistics infrastructure roadmap and to develop food education and transportation networks and loads master plan such that we are more efficient when it comes to the movement of our foods. And with regards to the storage facilities, we are looking at creating more storage infrastructure, having policies around this, and also to develop processes and partnerships for the food storage and reserve management. At such a time as we are in, it is imperative, if you even go back to biblical times, it only makes logical sense for us to have more storage facilities available to be able to hold foods for longer periods of time.
In his closing remarks, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Agriculture and Food Systems, Emmanuel Audu, emphasized that Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu's administration is working on bringing hope and succor to Lagosians on the reduction of food prices and making food available to residents. Lagos State government has debunked a viral fake news on social media, stating emphatically that the state has not reintroduced a monthly environmental sanitation and is not starting any movement restriction by July ending. Commissioner for the Environment and Water Resources, Tokunbo Wahab, in a statement, said the viral news is the work of mischief makers who are keen on confusing residents. Wahab urged all residents to disregard the content of the viral fake news and go about their lawful business endeavors, stressing that there will be no restriction of movement on the last Saturday of July, as erroneously included in the fake news. He explained that what Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu announced on Sunday during a sanitation sensitization exercise at Campus Playground, Lagos Island, was that the state will start a weekly community-based sensitization and awareness exercise that will involve all residents. Plateau, Niger, Borno, and Osun states will be joining Lagos State and the Federal Capital Territory, FCT Abuja, to operate and manage mass transit train services. The Managing Director of the Nigerian Railway Corporation, NRC, Fidet Okeria, said these states are geared to invest more and become major players in the railway subsector of transportation in Nigeria. Okeria said this during a presentation themed from exclusive clause to concurrent list, potency for sustainable rail infrastructure development in Nigeria, and the Lagos State example at the endowment of a professorial chair on transport and logistics at the Lagos State University, LASU. Okeria said that the NRC has commenced inspection and certification of various equipment to be deployed on the Lagos Red Line. And now to the rest of the stories. President Bola Tinubu has forwarded to the Senate for consideration and approval the injection of 6.2 trillion naira into the 27.5 trillion naira 2024 budget. The president, in the request via a letter read on the floor of the Senate by its president, Godswill Akpabio, during plenary, specifically sought for withdrawal of 3.2 trillion naira from the Consolidated Revenue Fund for a capital expenditure. Tinubu, in the second leg of the request, sought for withdrawal of another 3 trillion naira from the Consolidated Revenue Fund for additional recurrent expenditure for the year ending on December 31, 2024. According to the letter, Tinubu is also seeking an act to amend the Finance Act of 2023 to impose and charge windfall tax on banks and to provide for the administration of the tax and matters related thereto. The International Monetary Fund, IMF, has cut its forecast for Nigeria's economic growth in 2024 to 3.1%. This is contained in the July 2024 World Economic Outlook. IMF cited a weaker growth recorded in the first quarter of the year as reason for the new forecast. The downgrade represents 0.2 percentage points below the earlier forecast of 3.3% and followed weaker than expected gross domestic product, GDP, and growth recorded by the country in the first quarter of 2023. Meanwhile, the IMF retained its 3.0% forecast for Nigeria's economic growth in 2025. And now to foreign news. Bangladeshi Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina says the government will form a judicial committee to investigate the killings of students protesting against the government's job quota system. Police fired tear gas and rubber bullets to disperse the students. A day after violent clashes left 6 people dead and scores injured. The violence broke out after security forces deployed outside the Dhaka University campus. The protests turned violent this week when thousands of anti-quota protesters clashed with members of the student wing of the ruling Awami League party across the country. Authorities also announced the indefinite closure of all public and private universities from Wednesday. Britain's King Charles has outlined Prime Minister Keir Starmer's plan for the coming year, promising a government of service focused on growing the economy and tackling issues from acute housing shortage to a cost of living crisis. Starmer's Labour Party won an overwhelming victory in the July 4 general elections and had vowed to create wealth for people up and down the country. He also outlined his Labour government's priorities for the coming year when King Charles III officially opened the new session of Parliament. Wearing the diamond-studded imperial state crown and a long crimson robe, King Charles delivered the proposals from a golden throne in the House of Lords upper chamber during a lavish ceremony.
Bills will be brought forward to strengthen audit and corporate governance alongside pension. Securing economic growth will be a fundamental mission. My government will seek a new partnership with both business and working people and help the country move on from the recent cost of living challenges by prioritising wealth creation for all communities. My ministers will establish an industrial strategy council. It is my government's objective to see rising living standards in all nations and regions in the United Kingdom.
The King added that the goal is to see rising living standards in all nations and regions of the United Kingdom. And now sports. Paris Saint-Germain, PSG, has established contact with Victor Osimhen's camp. Reports say the Ligue 1 champions' interest in the Nigerian international is now getting concrete. The 25-year-old, who previously expressed his preference for a move to the Premier League, is open to joining PSG. Meanwhile, 130 million euros release clause was inserted into the new contract of Osimhen signed at Napoli in December 2023. The striker scored 15 goals in 25 league appearances for Napoli last season. And just before we go, ensure the registration mark on your vehicle is clear and visible at all times. You can follow us on like all our various social media platforms on X at Traffic Radio 961, Facebook Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM, Instagram Lagos Traffic Radio 961. On YouTube, subscribe and watch us live on our channel, Traffic Radio 961. You can also visit our website on www.trafficradio961.ng. Did you know that the Sanwo-Olu administration trained 500 unemployed youths in soft skills and job interview program? You can get more details on the Lagos State government website. To end the news, here are the highlights of the major stories. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has reaffirmed that Lagos State is open to more local and foreign investments and partnerships to boost its economy and security of residents. President Bola Tinubu has forwarded to the Senate for consideration and approval the injection of 6.2 trillion naira into the 27.5 trillion naira 2024 budget. We also told you that Bangladeshi Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina said the government will form a judicial committee to investigate the killings of students protesting against the government's job quota system. And in sports, Paris Saint-Germain has established contact with Victor Osimhen's camp. For contact with the newsroom, please send a message to info@trafficradio961.ng. And that ends the news broadcast compiled by Adiwayo Idoolaya. I am Akan Usen. Thanks for listening and please stay safe. Good evening.